Discover why you're suffering. Go beyond the intellect with Sadhguru. Ever wondered why, even when everything seems fine, the suffering just won't go away? The answer might surprise you. Suffering is more self-inflicted than you think. Sadhguru reveals that the source of our struggles lies in the intellect, which keeps replaying problems and finding faults where there aren't any. The solution isn't to try to fix every little thing in life, but to rise above that never-ending logic. When you do, you'll discover a freedom that goes beyond what's normally understood, allowing life to become a lighter, more meaningful experience. Curious about how to break those invisible chains? Continue in the video to dive into this transformative journey. Suffering isn't just something that happens to us, it's something we create with our own minds. Sadhguru explains that most of the time, it's our logical intellect that leads us to suffer, interpreting and reacting to situations in a negative way. Think of it like someone who keeps analyzing and replaying their problems over and over, like a scratched record. If you stop playing the record, the suffering stops. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges, but rather changing how you perceive them so you can live more lightly. On the flip side, when you realize that suffering is something you create inside yourself, you can turn it into a lesson. Say you lose your job. The initial pain is inevitable, but if you look beyond it, you might find an opportunity to reinvent yourself. It's like being caught in the middle of a storm and, instead of freaking out, deciding to learn how to dance in the rain. Practicing gratitude for the little things is a practical way to reprogram that inner logic, helping to ease the feeling of suffering. At the core, every negative thought we let grow is like a seed we plant in the garden of our mind. If we keep cultivating only weeds, suffering will always be there. But if we choose to plant thoughts that inspire us and push us to grow, we start mastering the art of creating our own peace. This is where the path to a deeper understanding of living beyond the intellect begins, leading us to the next point. Living beyond the intellect means freeing yourself from the chains of repetitive thoughts that keep you stuck in suffering. When someone elevates their awareness beyond logical reasoning, they start seeing life with a clarity that isn't limited by judgments. It's like looking at the sky. If you're always focused on the clouds, you'll miss the vast blue stretching behind them. Animals, for example, live below the intellect and suffer less because they don't analyze every experience they have, they just respond to life. On the other hand, living stuck in the intellect is like being in a maze where every thought is a wall blocking your way out. Picture someone who's constantly second-guessing every decision they've ever made, replaying mistakes and regrets. This cycle can turn into a mental prison, making it hard to experience any kind of peace. Practices like meditation or yoga are effective ways to experience what it's like to be above the intellect, as they help quiet the mind and expand awareness beyond the limits of logical thinking. True freedom arises when you learn to use the intellect as a tool, instead of being used by it. By practicing detachment from automatic thoughts and deep-rooted beliefs, you can tap into a deeper dimension of being where suffering has no place to hold on. This state allows you to explore mastery over your own self, leading you to discover a greater level of control over life. Achieving mastery over yourself is one of the greatest accomplishments you can have. It means having control over your body, mind, and vital energies, rather than just being a spectator of your impulses. Picture someone who, instead of reacting impulsively to a stressful situation, chooses to respond calmly and deliberately. This skill doesn't appear overnight. It's an ongoing journey of self-mastery, where every small victory strengthens your ability to live with more joy and less suffering. There are simple practices you can add to your daily routine to develop this mastery. For instance, setting aside some time each day for introspection can help you identify harmful mental patterns and replace them with more positive thoughts. Another effective practice is using breathing techniques like diaphragmatic breathing to calm the mind and reduce anxiety. When you start gaining control over these aspects, life begins to feel less chaotic and more like it's in your hands. However, this control isn't about suppression, but about transformation. It's not about pushing thoughts or emotions away, but consciously redirecting your energy. Every time you manage to do this, you get one step closer to avoiding that half-alive state where your potential remains unexplored. The journey of self-mastery continues as you deepen your understanding of what it truly means to be alive. A lot of people live only a fraction of their potential, stuck in that half-alive state. They wake up, go through the motions, and go to bed without really connecting with life. It's like they're on autopilot, only feeling the physical world and the constant stream of thoughts. Sadhguru points out that this lack of vitality and purpose causes suffering, because true happiness doesn't come from just existing, but from fully living and exploring everything we're capable of being. To break out of this state, it's essential to adopt practices that wake up your awareness to the present. Something as simple as starting the day with an activity that nourishes the mind and body, like meditation or yoga, can help shake up the routine. Plus, learning something new or rekindling an old talent can reignite the spark for life. As you do this, the feeling that something's missing starts to fade and your untapped potential comes to life. When you start feeling your own vitality in full, every experience becomes an opportunity for growth. Being half alive is settling for a watered-down version of existence, while choosing to explore your consciousness deeply is embracing true freedom. And it's this freedom, when managed well, that defines what it means to be human, setting us apart from the fixed behavioral patterns of other creatures. Humans are unique in their ability to choose how they live, unlike other creatures that follow instinctive and fixed patterns. This freedom can be a blessing or a curse, depending on how it's managed. When we don't know how to handle this responsibility, it turns into stress and suffering. It's like having a vast piece of land to cultivate, but not knowing what to plant, ending up with a field full of weeds. True freedom requires making conscious choices to keep this vastness from becoming a source of anxiety. To make the most of this freedom, it's important to learn how to steer your life in a desired direction. A good example is setting personal goals that go beyond just making a living. It could be something like learning a new language, exploring an artistic skill, or building a passion-based business. When you commit to these goals, you start turning freedom into a source of satisfaction and fulfillment, instead of letting it become a burden. The beauty of this human freedom lies in the ability to constantly change, to reinvent yourself with every step. However, this is only possible if you know how to use your intellect as an ally, not an enemy. When this freedom is paired with a conscious practice like yoga, it opens the door to transcending the limitations imposed by intellectual suffering. This brings us to the role yoga plays in freeing the intellect. Yoga goes way beyond physical postures. It's a deep practice that allows you to transcend the intellect and tap into a higher dimension of awareness. Sadhguru describes yoga as a technology for well-being, helping people break through the limits of logical thinking and mental suffering. It's like having a tool to reset your mind, shutting off the constant noise of thoughts and awakening a clearer perception. When practiced with dedication, yoga leads to a lighter and more connected life experience. For those who have never tried yoga, starting with simple breathing practices can be a great way to ease in. Techniques like alternate nostril breathing, nadi shodhana, help balance the body and mind, reducing anxiety and increasing mental clarity. By incorporating these practices into your daily routine, the intellect loses its power to dominate your life experience, allowing you to explore the subtler aspects of existence. It's an essential step for anyone looking not just to solve problems, but to transcend the very nature of suffering. Yoga, therefore, serves as a guide to evolving beyond intellectual and instinctual challenges, leading to genuine transformation. With regular practice, you begin to notice profound changes in how you feel and respond to the world. This practice isn't an end in itself, but a means to access a state of awareness where the intellect is just a small part of a much bigger picture. This process prepares us for conscious evolution, which goes beyond basic instincts and taps into the full potential of being human. To truly evolve, you need to go beyond basic instincts and automatic responses that dominate everyday life. The challenges that arise along the way often serve as catalysts for this evolution, pushing you to seek something beyond comfort or immediate pleasure. Sadhguru explains that these obstacles are opportunities in disguise, requiring conscious effort to overcome. It's like forging a sword. The metal has to be heated and hammered to become stronger. In the same way, challenges are the tests that shape character and expand awareness. Transcending the intellect is an essential part of this evolutionary journey. When you stop relying solely on logic to navigate life, you make room for a more intuitive and deeper perception. This doesn't mean ignoring the intellect, but using it consciously, like a carpenter uses their tools to create something meaningful. Guided meditations and self-observation practices are great ways to start this transformation, helping you expand your mind beyond the limits of rational thinking and paving the way for a more refined wisdom. As you consciously evolve, you begin to realize that human potential is limitless, but it takes effort and dedication to fully explore it. This ongoing process of evolution doesn't happen automatically. You need to cultivate practices that nourish the mind and spirit, like yoga and meditation. With each step, you reach a new level of understanding and freedom, leading to a life that's more meaningful and full of experiences. This closes the loop of evolution and starts a new one, always striving for a higher and more conscious state of being. If you've made it this far, it's because you feel there's something in your life that needs to change. But understanding why you suffer isn't enough. You need to take action to turn it into a source of growth. How about putting Sadhguru's teachings into practice? Make yoga or meditation a habit, explore your emotions with honesty, and challenge your intellect to be more than just a problem solver. Are you ready to take that step? What's still holding you back from evolving beyond what you know? Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep going on this journey of learning. And for the next step, check out our latest video. Try this. Whatever you wish for will happen. Learn how to manifest with Sadhguru. There are many paths to explore, and each one can lead you to discover a new level of freedom and happiness.